the Riverwalk Park is a great thing, and I truly am very happy to see it going forth. I think it's great and it's fantastic. It's a joy to see people coming across the bridge. My area of concern is in the pending parking restrictions. At this time, between the two street posts, there is approximately 52 feet designated for off-street or loading and unloading zone. I have customers that have 50 feet worth of vehicles, which means they could park there, but they would not even be able to walk into the doors. Also, I believe that would create a fire emergency or egress, because you now have the access to the building, the exit and entrance, both blocked by somebody else bringing things in. The third thing is that I had mentioned to other members that we could extend onto my land because my land is adjacent to it. And then it was mentioned that that land was maybe be considered to be annexed or purchased by the city. I said, well, I may entertain the thought of renting to the city, but I didn't want to sell it. And then the option was, well, the city may have adverse possession because it was used in community property and regress for the last years. And then I said, well, that hasn't gone on for the last 20 years because there's been no bridge for people to travel across. And I just want to express my concerns. We need more off-street parking for that loading and egress in order to safety of the building and such. The last thing I'll mention is that there's only a 30-minute unloading time zone. We still are not able to get our trucks in the back of our building because of the debris that built up over the last 7 months because we couldn't get access because of the bridge being built. We're still working on that diligently. But at the same point, if we can't get more parking, most of our customers are truck and a trailer, car and a trailer, a U-Haul van, 26 feet. They're all going to be blocking the walkway, or not the walkway, but the entrance to the building. And the time, you can't load a vehicle, and there's a time restriction on those signs right now of 30 minutes. You cannot load or unload a 26-foot van in 30 minutes, even with a crew of 4 people going straight out. So there's some unrealistic expectations and some restrictions I feel we should address before you go forward with your decisions. But overall, I am 100% behind the Riverwalk, and I'm all for what it's done. And I think it is a wonderful thing, the way people are enjoying it in the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. What Mr. Bird's referred to is that there's a traffic order on, not on the agenda, but for consideration. And as most councilors would know, a traffic order is can be voted down by the council, but it's essentially it's an automatic approval through the planning office, through the planner. Ethan, are you objection, or do you object? Would you object to us pulling this traffic order for the time being? Come back, revisit. Let's go down there. Let's do a site. Let's walk through. Lieutenant Trombley can come and we'll try to figure this out. Is that fair to the council?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is just to acknowledge, we know, right? Like to acknowledge to Mr. Brody and us and everybody else who's using the space. This is, like you just said, it's a brand new bridge. And it's going to get a lot of traffic, and it has gotten a lot of traffic.
Yes, it has.
Which is good. Good for you, good for us, good for everybody. We do want to, we're here to make things work out. We're not here to say this is how it goes and that's it. We are certainly here to make it work out. And I think we also partially have to thank you for the bridge. Your work on the council, so thank you. But yeah, it's our whole job here is to try to work things out. We're not trying to say this is the city says how it goes is how it goes. All right. So we appreciate you being here. Appreciate you addressing this concern. Let's figure this out and try to make it work for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic? Seeing none, we'll now go to committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a councilor, and I will now call upon that chairperson of each committee, starting with city operations, Councilor Canales.
I was not heading this past city operations. You did, Mayor, and I have nothing.
Thank you. As a reminder, we did have a city operations committee meeting a couple weeks back, highlighting the IT process and transition that we're going under, that we're actively pursuing right now. I shared with the council the timeline for that progression. Myself, Courtney Meisenheimer, and the SimQuest team got together this week to talk about a marketing campaign, if you will, to get the word out to city staff, as well as to inform them of tools that they have that will be available to them in this transition. Again, we're moving technical platforms, we're moving email platforms, we're moving office product platforms. Any change is challenging. Any change to technology is challenging, or use of technology is challenging. So I just encourage people to just find some patience in this and use the tools that are afforded to us to make this transition. Finance and economic development. We did have a meeting last week, I believe it was, and items 7.285 through 7.288 are on the agenda per that committee. City Infrastructure Councilor Moore.
Well, it's leaf season again, but I hope the rain doesn't intermix with those biodegradable bags too much. But it does look like making good headway on that. I see the street sweepers went out, so very good. That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Public Safety Councilor Gibbs.
Well, unfortunately, we had to cancel the public safety meeting this week because both myself and Councilor Moore couldn't be present. Mayor, do you want to give any kind of update on the chief of police interviews or no?
Yeah, sure. I think that's fair. We have done, and as I've expressed to media as well, I'll start from the beginning. We sent out an advertisement for chief of police, hiring chief of police in the city of Plattsburgh. That was in July, I believe. Since then, we had about 52 applicants that had submitted their application. Part of that process was those 50 some odd applicants, all applicants had to go through the civil service application process to determine their eligibility from the civil service perspective. Then from there, that list was whittled down to 15 or 16, I believe. That list was then handed to a selection committee. That selection committee is a list of community members, the DA, Chief Public Defender, Bonnie Black from BHSN, Councilor Gibbs, Councilor Canales, myself, and Sheriff Favreau and Chief Rasco from SUNY Plattsburgh. Okay, I think that's everybody. We scored those candidates based on a rubric. The top 9, I believe, were invited for a Zoom interview. We performed a full day of Zoom interviews on Veterans Day, whittled that down to 4 or 5 candidates. Those 4 or 5 candidates will be coming to the city of Plattsburgh over this weekend to do in-person interviews. And then from there, the request of that selection committee was to make a recommendation for 2 hires that the selection committee would be comfortable with if either of them were hired for the city of Plattsburgh. Okay. Then as per the charter, it's my obligation, or it's the mayor's obligation to make the appointment recommendation to the council. The council then talks about it, debates it if needed, and kind of goes from there. That's where we're at. Sufficient? Is that good?
Yeah, I think so. And so hoping we can wrap this up soon.
Yep.
We'll be good.
Yep.
So other than that,
You're
I've
telling
got
me.
nothing else to update. the
Okay,
council.
thank you. Whew, Plattsburgh Public Library, Councilor Bob.
Basically just for now that masks are going to be worn in and out the library. That was just something that they mentioned recently. So I just want to reiterate that for everybody.
Great, thank you. PMLD, Councilor Kelly.
The only thing I have to report is that we excuse me, we have a resolution on the agenda tonight authorizing MLD to award bids for a couple of items they need for routine operations. So I would encourage the council to vote for those so that we can continue operations at the MLD. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Dean, any staff member reports?
Not for my office, no.
Any need for executive session?
No, not for mine.
Now entertain a motion to approve the payrolls of various city departments for the weeks ending November 17th, 2021 in the amount of $524,813.18. Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Bop. Discussion, roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
yes,
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the bills audited by the Common Council for the weeks ending November 19th, 2021 in the amount of $365,198.57. Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Bob. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
yes,
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried. Before voting on the following resolutions, I will note that the majority of these resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees and department heads. We're now taking action on these items in large part due to the recommendations of those committees. Ms. Carlin, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 7.282, authorizing holiday displays in Trinity Park.
Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Canales. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
yes,
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.283, authorized street closures holiday parade.
Motion by Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Pop. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Item 7.284, authorizing MLB to award bids.
Motion by Counselor Kelly, second by Counselor Canales. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
yes,
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.285, authorized budget transfer, general fund, rec complex transfer.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Gibbs. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
yes,
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.286, authorizing healthcare plan renewals for the fiscal year 2022 with Highmark Blue Shield of Northeastern New York, Highmark with corresponding renewal of participant stop loss insurance.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Bop. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
yes,
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.287, authorized real property tax write-off parcel 207.12-2-40.
Motion. Counselor Canales, second. Counselor Bop. Discussion. This did come before the Finance Committee. This was a tax roll adjustment in 2020. So the 2020 tax roll adjustment. That was, there was a clerical error by the assessor's office. The change to the tax roll, the adjustment, I should say, the adjustment to the year 2020 automatically goes in effect for school taxes in 2020. And subsequently is affected, goes into effect in the city of Plattsburgh during the next round of applicable when the new rule is applied, which is in February of 21, which is why we're seeing it this year. Further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
yes,
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
No.
Counselor Moore?
no,
There's 3 yeses and 3 noes.
Yes.
Mayor Brady, tie in the affirmative. Item 7.288, adopting findings, resolutions, and order of city of Plattsburgh pursuant to Article 17 of the New York General Municipal Law regarding the proposed annexation of property located at Lemaine Drive.
Motion by Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Talon. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
yes,
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.289, approved travel request, police department.
Motion. Counselor Canales, second by Counselor Gibbs. Discussion. Both these items are up for approval by this council and they are paid for by asset seizure. This is not general fund. These do not come out of general fund.
What was the travel request again? I can't remember.
One is for DCGS Defense Tactics. It's a booster training series. It's like, hey, it's a refresher. And then the other one was a breath analysis instructor training. The first one is just under 450. The other one is just over 800. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canales?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob? Yes. Counselor Moore?
Yes,
Carried. Is there any new business to come before this committee?
I have one thing, I think it's time for us to schedule our budget meetings. How do you want to handle that? You want to like submit some available dates or just schedule some days and hope for the best? Or
Well,
you should probably schedule a couple. of days.
yeah, we need to do that and finalize the council budget. Clearly not next week, because it's before Thanksgiving. Our meeting schedule into December, we have a council meeting December 2nd, right? And no meetings prior to that. I mean, prior to, yeah, in that week. What about? Well, you all know my availability, Mondays and Wednesdays. Tuesday I can't do.
Would you all prefer Ms. Carlin send out a doodle poll to help?
Let's
with
do
this?
that.
Yeah, sure.
That
Okay.
We
works.
could do that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Beth, would you mind managing that for us, please? Okay, thank you. As council understands and was aware that there's been a couple back and forth emails regarding the financial projection. Richard and I did go through this. We found some concerns and some corrections. It's not, like I said in the email, it's one of those things where it's good to have more eyes on it than less than fewer. What's been provided to you today, I don't believe, in speaking with Councilor Moore, I don't believe that there's a motion on the table to approve this. I think there's more than anything an opportunity to come back and review it for understanding and accuracy. But I do want to make it clear that this has been provided to council after my office has reviewed the projections, and certainly looking forward to continuing this conversation to provide and approve this financial plan. Any further business come for this council?
I don't have any business, but I would like to thank everybody, and our public works employees are not here, but Cogan Avenue looks really great. And wanted to extend my thanks to the department that took care of that. It looks really, really.
They
good.
will appreciate that. There are some things that we're looking at just post construction concerns that we have that we're looking into, which not a big deal right now. And as we talked, the striping schedule is a little wonky, given we're late in the year. They can't do it when it's wet, and they can't do it when it's too cold. So we might be looking at the spring until it's restriped. But
So Mayor, it's reminding me, I did forward you an email from a constituent who had fallen down. Were you able to follow
yes,
up
we
with
went out there and we took care of that. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay, thank
Yep.
you. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Any further business to come before the council?
I
Please.
just wanted to make a little note. This Saturday, November 20th, is Transgender Day of Remembrance. That is the day where people reflect and remember the victims of violence of the transgender community. So it's a sad day. As far as I know, as far as today, 62 American citizens have been killed simply because of who they were. So it's good for us to always remember that the transgender community is a community of human beings. We should always remember that.
Thank you, Councilor
Thank
Collin. I
you,
appreciate that.
Councilman.
Yes, thank you. Any further business? Yes, please.
This Tuesday at A3 Bridge Street, there's a lot of local businesses and philanthropists that have got together, along with one of the state commissioners, that will be giving out hundreds of turkeys from 3 to 7 p.m. So
And sorry, Counselor Canales, when Counselor Canales says hundreds, he's not exaggerating.
Mhm.
There are gonna be 100 something, how many hundreds of turkeys that are, and I'm not kidding, like there's hundreds of turkeys being handed out.
What time?
From 3 to 7 PM, 3 PM to 7 PM.
The address again, I'm sorry.
83 Bridge Street, it's
83.
right across from Campus Corner Cafe, the old PMS building. That's with the fixings. There'll also be coats being given out, and anybody and everybody is welcome. I would like to see personally that all the families from the Underwood trailer park to come and get whatever they need or want. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Did you get in touch with Denise nephew?
Yes, I let
Okay,
them.
She'll be a good resource for getting that message out to the folks who live there.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further business or special announcements? Seems like that's when the time is to do it now. Seeing none, I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn. Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Bop, all in favor?
Hi.
You're now adjourned.
So we will not see each other before next Thursday.